Welcome back to some professional Starcraft to the ESL Open Cup Finals. Sponsored in part by Shopify and viewers like you, though mostly Shopify. Let me introduce you to this German Civil War. The two best players from Deutschland duking it out in the Big Game Weekly. But will it be stopped at the wall? That is the question we must ask. In the bottom left, one of the premier field Protoss in the world. Almost aggressively defensive. Known for control, multitasking, and a stoic demeanor. D-Mauer. It's showtime. Specializing in taking down or taking on European Terran players. Jimmy! Now is not the time. This is a dramatic intro. People won't like and subscribe if I don't do a dramatic intro. We've learned this. But we do have plenty of time because, of course, both of these honorable Europeans, neither with any early shenanigans, both with buildings in their base, though I don't know if we will say that for every game of this best of 5, of course. You may have felt his presence even before you open this video. His gravitational pull is known by all. And his gameplay as well. The biggest Terran in the finals of this week and in the world. Sponsored by Mouse Sports for more than half the time that Rainer's been alive. One of the stalwart Terrans who continues to perform. It is, of course, Heromarine. You may enjoy his stream, his commentary, making... So, I don't like Heromarine. Because Big Gabe is out there playing Terran, top 8 Grandmaster, commentating in his second language. Every day. Or most days, at least. Sometimes while playing these tournaments. Which really doesn't seem very fair. I can't even commentate in my first language. Which, leave some for the rest of us, Gabe. But he's just... His knowledge and his physical size are too large and cannot be contained. He's body blocking the Adept with its own Nexus. The Adept Shade will chase him out, channeling his inner Clem. As we move in to the macro phase, where both players have to figure out... Well, starting on Blackburn, already a map that encourages a more defensive air-focused play. Obviously, you're expanding away from your opponent, as opposed to your average standard map where you're expanding towards them as time goes on. So this is, of all of the maps, the most likely, I would say, to go to... This and Romanticide to go to a split map scenario. We see a Stargate from Showtime, a safe choice, but not a passive choice, because active scouting is much more important than just sitting behind a wall of cannons and shield batteries. The Oracle will provide that constant information, and is not very vulnerable because you have all this airspace, even with the Bubulus, to slow things down. Wow, we are just speeding into the macro game. It looks like Heromarine... Oh, that Cyclone comes out at the right time, slaps a Revelation. Gonna get a little bit of hull damage, but that will be all of the damage. No units have died. A Cyclone somewhat bruises an Oracle. That is the extent of the damage so far. The Reaper going to try to fight an Adept, a very bold move. Looks like Heromarine not content to just sit back. He's adding on a medevac with 7 heroic Marines. 2 Oracles heading in, and the ship's passing in broad daylight here. A single Cyclone not going to be enough to deal with this. In fact, the Oracles might be able to do some damage. Heromarine kind of stalled out on the other side, trying to micro his clone, but the SCVs are pulled to repair. A little awkward. Heromarine not moving in, focusing on the defense, which gives Showtime an opportunity to muster his own. 5 Adepts, more than enough to deal with these Marines. A Phoenix One Oracle went down. Showtime actually supply blocked off that pylon, though he has some more on the way, and a third Nexus. The third Nexus is the real prize here. If Heromarine is able to get a kill on that, but that is optimistic at best. He's going to try to split the forces. No shield battery in the main. 1, 2 probes maybe going to go down. Gateway units pulled out of position. Phoenix is on the chase. Showtime knows there's more than just this medevac right now. That much is incredibly clear. Revelation will keep track of the medevac for him. And Showtime, he doesn't have a shield battery at the third. 3 Cyclones right now. Able to pick off some of these units. There's actually a lot of army here for Heromarine, bringing it all together, and Showtime is not up to snuff. The Cyclones will drive the Adepts back with no shield batteries anywhere. No shield battery overcharge opportunity. Showtime's third is gone. Showtime is gone. Heromarine, with a quick execution in game 1, things escalated far too quickly. And Heromarine is going to take that with relative ease. So, I think Showtime not respecting the Cyclones. You are rare. It's rare to see more than 1. But 3 Cyclones against someone who didn't have any shield batteries. The way you deal with that is you pull back into shield batteries. You force the Cyclone to decide. Like, is it targeting buildings or is it targeting units? But with no shield batteries, Showtime, too brittle of a defense. And that means he loses game number 1 in concise fashion. I don't know how much of that was intended to kill and how much was just putting on solid pressure. And that is the best way to play as a Terran. Like, you don't want to be committed to an all-in. That's why so many times you'll see an expansion behind an attack. But at the same time, you don't want to sit back because then you let the Protoss get all the tech. Like, Showtime was already going for a Robo Bay. He was building up a Phoenix count. These are not things you want to just let happen. Heromarine, I know personally, has some thoughts on Protoss and what happens when Protosses do anything. So we see there Big Gabe not willing to let those things happen. SCV taking a bit of an odd pathing. I'm not sure if he's looking for like a Max Pax gateway. Or, oh, there you go. That's why. Yeah, I didn't look at the timing. NG Bay block on the Nexus. Why an NG Bay? So just generally for these blocks, buildings start with a certain amount of HP, like a percentage of their total. The NG Bay is the highest cost to HP ratio. Builds quick. You're not actually going to finish it. You can cancel it, get 75% refund, 25% restocking fee. Showtime doesn't even bother with trying to delay the block with the probe, just slaps down a third at his third. This is essentially the Protoss getting a little bit... Zerg players, you've made it this far into the game. How does it feel? Alright, tell me how it feels to watch a Protoss get blocked. Not just by a Protoss, but by a Terran, nonetheless. Honestly, I'm 1/3 Protoss, but it still feels good. It doesn't feel good when it happens to me, obviously. But I can appreciate it. Obviously, Showtime has dealt with this. This is not a rare strategy. It's not common. It's like in that, oh, okay, kind of middle ground, maybe 10 to 20% of games. Heromarine adding on a second rack. Okay, so a second rack's gonna put the reactor on the factory. Hellions are the obvious choice because he's forced Showtime. You can't defend one ramp and defend both your bases. Not anymore. Forcing the third base opens up an opportunity for Hellions to get damaged on. Though it does delay any other parts of your build. Showtime adding on the Stargate here. He's just completing the Reaper wall. Might as well. He's already got the pylon set up. An Oracle is kind of your catch-all defense. Oracle, what can't it do? shoot air units. But otherwise, the Oracle has almost everything you could need and a situation for it. Honestly, one of the most utilitarian units in the game. Up there with things like Ravens and my favorite, Queens. Though, has a lot more scouting potential than Queens do early. Oh, he baits it! Showtime flips on the flashlight. And Heromarine already gone. Wow. I don't even know if he noticed the Oracle turned on, but he saw the Oracle, and that was enough to turn around. Phoenix is on the way. Behind this, it's going to be a bio build to follow up, and that makes sense. He's got an engineering bay. This one he finished in the back of his mineral lab. Which gives, of course, access to turrets if needed, but not needed now because the Hellions have forced defense. Heromarine is kind of manipulating Showtime's response. He's forced Showtime to expand to his third as his second base. He now knows there's Stargate, but the Hellions have caused Showtime to sit back, play defensive, not even send the Oracles out. So Showtime not able to get the greatest benefit of Stargate early on, which is threatening damage and constant scouting. Now, Showtime feeling comfortable enough to poke out with the Oracle, but by the time the Oracle shows up, Showtime will not have any time to change up his build. He can Chrono Boost gates, maybe. Oh, the Oracle isn't even here in time. The double medevac drop with Stim already complete, I might add. The Oracle gonna show up, slap a Revelation down more than likely. Yeah. I wonder if he realizes that starport is no longer... Well, something built the reactor. There's a single shield battery here. Showtime sees nothing right now. That Whittle Mine could change a lot of things for either side. The Phoenix count is pretty high. Shield battery overcharge used quite early. Pretty sure Showtime sees that Whittle Mine, but the Hellions are in the natural. They were never killed. Oracle coming back. Revelation going to be pretty necessary here. Remember, overcharge was already used. It's going to pick up the Hellions. They were taken out by the Phoenixes, so Heromarine knew where the Phoenixes were, able to pull back. 4 probes killed. Critical damage? No. But once again, keeping a lot of map control. Though, honestly, Showtime just kind of batting that away with a lot more ease than I expected. Because Showtime's also, like, he didn't have the extra gates. He's got his third up. He's now adding 6 more gateways. This was before the gateway explosion that you'll usually see between 50 and 60 probes. Now, Heromarine coming in with tanks. He's a little more serious about it this time around. No tactive boys. No SCVs to repair the tanks. Maybe slap down a bunker or 2. So, with charge, charge is done. With the gateways finishing, I think the wall will be hardened in time. And even without +1 armor, it depends. It depends. Of course, any close game comes down to control, and right now, that is a lot of Marines stimming in. That tank in the back line. There's a Whittle Mine underneath it, by the way. Trying to wait for +1 armor. It ain't working out. Guardian shield. Shield battery overcharge. Oracle comes in. Gun down. Whittle Mine found a shot. Guardian shield looking for more. Phoenix is late to the party, but better late than never. Picks up the tank. Removes that opportunity. +1 armor done. Concussive shells irrelevant. 1 tank on the low ground. Heromarine holds his ground. 4 probes down. 57 to 54. So the economy has been limited, and somehow so far relatively... Actually, not an even trade. Look at that cost efficiency from Heromarine. 28 to 1,400 minerals lost. But if he overstays his welcome, he loses everything. Yeah, the Phoenix is not going to be able to chase, but reinforcements have arrived. The tug of war will continue. Did he just build... Oh no, Showtime's building a second Templar Archives. He may not have noticed. Well, he did notice now, but... he built the second one in a panic. That tells you how much pressure he's under. It looks like Showtime's handling this cool, collected, The Second Templar Archives tells us, okay, maybe under the surface he's a little more stressed out. But that is a lot of charge lots. One Widow Mine gonna be dragged into the Medivacs, and the Medivac's gonna drag all the Marines out of the fight. And I think it's time for a Ghost Academy here, Marine. What do you think? Especially upon seeing Archons, the Armory's on the way, Heromarine gonna be forced back. Honestly, building an Armory is an admission that he's not gonna win the game with what he has right now. I was really expecting him to slap down a Ghost Academy. Heromarine, one of the most adamant Ghost players just in the world. Like, he's usually more willing to slap down that Ghost Academy than almost anyone else. Knowing that, like, Ghosts are not, like, there's no way they can go wrong. It's like Archons against Zerg. Every Protoss unit and building has shields, and a lot of them have energy. But Heromarine is looking to keep on the pressure, even if he's been temporarily pushed back. Showtime is even on workers. So right now, with Heromarine landing his third, dropping some mules, he's actually got some more income. Widow Mine drop. Those are Armory mines. You gotta pick those up, and he does. The Phoenix Colossus looks to be the follow-up here. Showtime. Nothing else on the map. He's going for a fourth. It still doesn't have much HP. No shield battery overcharge opportunity. Phoenix is trying to drag the mines. Kind of awkward Widow Mine hits, but Heromarine getting forced back. 1-1 against just +1 armor, but the charge lots are closing the distance. The Phoenix is picking off Medivacs as they retreat. Heromarines retreat is turning into a rout, at least until the reinforcements arrive. Still one Widow Mine maintained. Showtime. Heromarine is incredibly good at continuing production while he's attacking. Just the multitasking stands out. So, you look at that, you see Heromarine retreat across the map, losing Medivacs, losing Marines, losing Marauders. He's currently ahead on supply. As he just continues forward. We're going to the Big Gabe action cam here. Just for an attack. I'd like you, if you are one of those aspiring Terrans out there, look at the bottom right. Of course, we're using the fancy observer over interface, but the amount of production happening. Microwing, Marines, and Marauders. As I say it, he doesn't touch it once. Busy microing this attack, but he's selecting Marines, Mines, and Marauders separately. Sees the Phoenixes coming. Just control clicking through a lot of it, making sure to maintain production as well. And this is just trading right now. He doesn't expect to end the game with this. It's going to be the Ghosts. Well, the follow-up is the Ghosts. The Ghosts are not going to end the game now that that Colossus is here. Enhanced shockwaves are on the way. The Phoenix is. We'll hold some Marauders for the Archon to punch out of the sky. But during all this, another couple Medivacs. Showtime, of course. He doesn't have many observers. He hasn't been able to find the time on the Robo. But seeing this before it comes in is a huge deal. And that will allow Showtime to move some forces to defend, while still trying to zone out of his fourth. He can't really afford to lose any bases now. A few probes, maybe. Some zealots, okay. But losing a base as your main is mining out, as it does, between 10 and 15 minutes, that's critical damage. We'll see if Heromarine actually snipes the observer here. Oh my god, he was thinking about dunking on that, or he was just trying to pick up. Either way. Here we go. Let's go to the Showtime. Showtime, the map is dark and full of Terrans. It's unfortunate he's in this scenario. This is not a comfortable scenario for a Protoss, especially a Protoss like Showtime who wants to have an active defense. But where is the army? He's trying to cover literally all his bases. But he doesn't... Okay. Well, that observer reveals a lot of danger. He's adding a little bit of vision on the outside. More units are coming. As soon as he sees the Vikings and Ghosts, he'll commit. Honestly, that was the most predictable drop in the bottom left, but Showtime stretched too thin right now. Struggling. EMPs land. Army obliterated. Heromarine stimming and winning. Down goes the third. The Phoenixes come in. Where's the splash damage? Vikings in more than high enough number to take down Colossi. Forced to micro back his Heromarine, but another attack with a drop that delayed the base. Oh no, microing back with the War Prism. It's not going to last forever. Heromarine dismantling Showtime. Just a solid match out of the man. That, like, he did not let go. At no point did he overcommit, but at the same time, at no point did he let Showtime really get anything going. There was a hint of an oracle across the map. There were a couple zealots, but Showtime never could get any damage done. And it's not so much like the reason why top Terran struggle against Protoss usually is not because of the army itself. Like Clem and Maru and Heromarine, they can take any Protoss army as long as that's what they can focus on. It's when the counterattacks, the warp prisms, anything in your mineral lines, DTs, it's when those things start happening that things start going sideways. But Heromarine just never allowed Showtime any of that. Jimmy! Yes, Big Gabe has 2. I know. Two 0 for the German Terran. Showtime has been in this position plenty of times before. Showtime almost as many ESL Open Cup finals as the man himself. In fact, this matchup has happened. There's been, I believe this is week 80. This matchup has happened in the finals at least half a dozen times. That's a conservative number for me. I remember in like the third Open Cup finals and the fourth, like the first few weeks were essentially the Showtime show alongside Big Game, and still is. Now, for those who don't know, just a few months ago in 2021, when you're watching this, when I have 10 million subscribers and you're combing through my backlog to find out why I was such a terrible caster in 2021, but I became essentially the you see, I can't even finish that sentence. Anyways, Shopify is sponsoring, alongside other things, the ESL Pro Tour Open Cups. So the prize pool currently, in each of these weekly cups, winner gets $250, as well as some valuable ESL points. Now, those ESL points go towards qualifying and seeding in the major events, the DreamHack Masters, and the ESL Pro Tour events, as well as the World Championship IM Katowice each year. So, especially for players who maybe, like, Heromarine and Showtime are great players. But if your seeding is too low, and you're, like, near the bottom, like, maybe you'll qualify. Maybe you won't have to go through an open qualifier. Neither of these players, I think, will. But if your seeding is too low, then you get matched up against the top seeds. And do you think either of these guys wants to be playing Rainer or Clem in the first round? So we're not just talking about a nice chunk of change each week, but also a continued effort towards avoiding getting knocked out by... I mean, Clem's not here, is he? But I would definitely put Clem and Rainer at the scariest players. Yeah, Sarah, step it up. All right, these kids nowadays. Teenagers. These Zoomers at 500 APM. Big Gabe ain't as young as he used to be. It's true. Showtime also a bit more of a storied player. So that is something to keep in mind alongside, of course, like a nice payday. So, interesting. The Reaper wall meta. I want to talk about that. Okay, what's oh no. The Reaper, He actually got it. Okay. So, only like 40% of games recently have Terrans actually made a Reaper. Heromarine is definitely... he still relies on it. But Maru, Clem on that list, I haven't been seeing nearly as many Reapers, partially because Protoss are still so committed to blocking them, which honestly I feel should be punished more often. Going for this Reaper wall now killing a Cyber Core at the 5, 6, 7 minute mark is not a huge deal, but it feels like a lot of commitment to build your buildings at the edge of your base instead of in a more defensible position just to block a Reaper. But here's another part of the story. Terrans get super tilted by it. Then again, Terrans could get tilted on a gyro-stabilized table in 0G somehow. So, really, that's not saying much. But if you've ever watched Big Gabe, or essentially any Terran ever, so here's the flowchart. Protoss does something. Oh my god, I hate Protoss. That's usually how it goes. I might be misrepresenting, but...
Oh, it's so fucking stupid. It hurts so much.
Not to stereotype. I don't think the Reaper Wall is worth it, personally. But I'm not the one playing the game here. I feel like it's kind of like Terran 3cc builds. It phases in and out of style. Speaking of style, this is it's blink into charge with a quick third from Showtime. This is actually a super Widow Mines! Well, they find a sentry and a single probe. So that Widow Mine drop. And then it dies to Stalkers, so... Was it worth? Meanwhile, Heromarines putting together a solid 3 racks push behind this. A lot of Marauders. Which usually, if this was going to be a Colossus build, or if it was going to be just heavy on the Blink Stalkers, that Marauder count would be super helpful. But Showtime has only, 7 Stalkers throughout the map. But he's already rushing out charge. No upgrades, Immortals, and Charge Mods. And against someone who's really pumping out this high of a Marauder count, the charge lots are going to be effective. Yeah, Big Gabe sending out double drop. Not sure if he spotted the Prism there. Well, he's gonna spot it now. I'm pretty sure the Prism spotted him, is what happened there. But just sending these out. Oh, there were units in possession. Maybe he wanted to try to catch the Prism itself. So we are kind of in this scenario where Showtime has taken his third so early. There was no chance in contesting it early. The best chance was for Heromarine to put together a big, strong push and try to knock it out before too much tech kicks in. But the issue here is the War Prism has severely slowed down any sort of attack. So right now, Showtime is doing to Heromarine what Heromarine has done to him in the last couple matches. Showtime is keeping him stuck at home, unable to really move out with a significant army, while he just solidifies his position. So this time, Showtime... Oh, wow. That's a sentence. He's the one being the aggressor, despite having more workers and more bases. Just because having initiative is worth a lot between these two. Yeah, Heromarine has to keep half his army back at home just to defend against the Prism. The Prism is still alive. And during all this has all been cover for Storm. Showtime now has gotten the Templar Archives and is chrono boosting out Storm. He's got a Storm Hammer drop here with plenty. The Templar are already warped in, which means they'll easily have enough energy. The constant chrono boost means that Storm should be done by the time the push is really threatening the base. By the time Shield Battery Overcharge is gone, well, Heromarine, he's going for the win here, so he doesn't care which base he hits. He's going to go for the more malleable one. Storm is still 12 seconds out. Anti-armor missile, Dorito dust, a significant chunk of the army. The War Prism, Storm now done. A lot of the Zealots are gone. The Prism took a lot of hits, but the Marines and Marauders have to weather the storm. A lot of the energy is gone on the medevacs, and the medevacs themselves are badly bruised. Reinforcements will arrive, sniping a couple more medevacs. Showtime. Select all army key in obvious use here with 3 observers chasing this down. Showtime was right on the edge there. If those storms didn't kick in within a couple seconds, Heromarine had the critical mass to break through. But just enough. Just enough. He'll hold for now. And now Storm is online. He doesn't... The Templar don't have the energy yet, but Heromarines in an awkward position. He decides, you know what? Here come the boys. He's not gonna have the economy. He's not gonna have the follow-up. All he has are the boys. The medevacs are out of energy. The Templar are not. The Stormland shield battery overcharge gonna help. Whittle Mine getting up in the mix. The SCV's tanking a lot of damage. There's only one Archon. Everything's badly bruised and should probably lay off the stim needles, but it's the only choice they have. Heromarine, while kiting back, types the GG, realizing he's not going to break through. The Storm, a couple seconds, all the difference. If that Prism hadn't bought the time, if Heromarine hadn't been stuck in his base, but, I say, well, Showtime holds. A tenuous hold. A difficult hold. But he holds. And that means the match will continue. So far, the person in blue color has lost every match, and they keep changing colors, though I don't know if they're actually noticing themselves. So, we'll see if that trend continues. Jimmy, what do you mean? Oh, okay. Quick advertisement, and then we'll be back to the action. Thank you guys for watching. Hey everybody, I'm Winter, and I'm here to talk to you about all the exciting things you can do. I hope you enjoyed that advertising that somehow wasn't a copyright infringing Age of Empires clone mobile game. That's been my favorite ad lately. I don't know what yours is. But like and subscribe and leave a comment on what sort of advertising you love to see, because our corporate overlords, no, not the Zergs, will love to see it. With that said, make sure to ring the bell so that way you get annoying notifications every day for all the amazing videos. And don't forget about Amazon Prime or else, because remember, at Amazon Prime, we know where you live. You told us. With Amazon Prime, every month for free, you can subscribe to a streamer of your choice, or even me. Yes, I might be a vampire who is never live when you want to watch, but you can support the content you at least like, if not love, because that option is only available to the person who uploads the video. And remember, every moment you don't subscribe with Prime Gaming, you're losing money for me. So subscribe with Prime Gaming today, or else. But back to all the amazing videos, maybe not as amazing as this one, but every day you've got something resembling content. Every day you've got something resembling something you want to watch. Otherwise, the algorithm is not doing its goddamn job. On Monday, terrible plays. On Tuesday, just skip that one. On Wednesday, there's also other days, my favorite days. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy. Back to the video. Good luck and have fun. Thank you guys for sticking around. We're back to match point, though continued match point of Heromarine versus Showtime, the German Civil War in the ESL Pro Tour Open Cup Finals. Brought to you by Shopify and ESL and these amazing players. Heromarine, we've seen whoever gets momentum first has carried it through. Game 1, Heromarine shuts down the Stargate and just grinds down the third base. Game 2 forces Showtime to expand to an awkward location. And then from there, just keeps the aggression up. Game 3, Heromarine didn't really get much done. Showtime was allowed to put that Warp Prism out there. And with the Warp Prism, he kept Heromarine on the back foot up until Storm was done. Barely until Storm was done, but when Storm finishes, a lot of dreams die. Heromarine not trying to avoid the Probe Scout here. Showtime had enough of being NG Bay blocked, it looks like. It's not quite... Showtime doesn't quite have enough for a Nexus. Heromarine threatening the NG Bay block. We'll see if he commits to it. Showtime opts for the Cyber Core. Yeah, this map is definitely not as easy to take your third, and it didn't go great on Romanticide either. There's a lot of space between your third and your natural compared to Romanticide. Romanticide's probably the easiest map to just take your third instead, because you still have a high ground platform to work with. So the block not coming through this time. If Heromarine really wanted to block, he would have avoided the probe. I think it's kind of a bit of a mind game play at this stage. Like, okay, if you're going to let me, I'll block it, but he sent the SCV straight through, so. Second gas before the factory finishes. This should be a heavy tech build here. I'd love to see a battle cruiser, though I don't think that's necessarily a good idea. In fact, I think that it's definitely not a good idea, but who doesn't like to see battle cruisers? Hellion to start. Right? Yes? Yeah. Otherwise, you're in a really awkward spot against an early adept. Speaking of, that might still continue. Oh, he waits until the last second to try to bait the adept in. Oh. Oh. It's literally at 71 out of 71. Oh. You just had to cut the ribbon on the command center. 2 SCVs die because you can't chrono boost a day's hard work. So that is about the best case scenario for Showtime here early on. He's got the wall off. He understands it is Hellions, obviously. He's not committing too much, but snipes a Hellion, and Heromarine off to a uncomfortable start. Will he start an armory? Because we do have a 4 Widowmine drop behind this. No armory, so not the largest commitment it could be, but pretty close. More reactors on the way. Showtime just... Like, if your opponent is going for a reactored factory, nothing comes out of that requires a ton of gateway units. You don't need a bunch of gates. You don't need a bunch of infrastructure. You just need the right units in the right place at the right time. Whether it's Widowmines or Hellions. So you can usually get away with a third, is what that means. Now, Heromarine not willing to make it so easy. Oh, great defense so far, but there are more mines where that came from. 3 kills thus far. This one a little dicier. Honestly, Showtime handling this... Oh, there goes one. Oh, no, wait. Whoa, 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 whoa. Showtime... Heromarine not making it easy, but Showtime is handling this about as well as could be expected. Somehow Heromarine gets out, despite the Blink Stalkers, with his medevac mostly intact and 2 of his mines. So the Minesweeper is on pause. We're on a hiatus here. It is not over. The mines will continue until until either the medevac, the mines, or the probes are dead. Heromarine knows that, of course, the stalkers are waiting for their opportunity. The standoff will, well, not really a standoff, but kind of close, will continue. One of those mines is bruised, so this continues while we go into relatively standard macro behind, but with a lot of tension here. Oh, the medevac! Oh, the most obvious bait yet incredibly effective. I'm not sure why. Yeah, Showtime just waiting for the blink cooldown. Alright. So that has been dealt with. Showtime diffusing the situation about as well as he could. Though Heromarine still getting decent damage and buying a lot of time. Those stalkers, believe it or not, if Showtime has stalkers in his base, they're not also simultaneously in Heromarine base. Protoss isn't that good. That kind of teleportation skill is for battlecruisers only. So, killing a few probes and keeping the stalkers anchored back at home is something. I'll admit, is not incredible. That is not as much damage as Heromarine wanted, especially with how much of a few probes did. The Hellions did nothing. The build was rocky to start, and now the stalkers are coming across the map. A single tank should be enough to turn around less than a dozen stalkers, but now Heromarine's kind of stuck back. He's lost the initiative now. By choice. He could have continued on 2 bases, but it will be quite a while. Scan looking... I don't know exactly what he's looking for. Maybe expecting tech. He knows it's in the main now. Showtime actually went for the tank and got it. He lost only 1 stalker so far. Heromarine has all his bio upgrades come together. But neither of them is going to have the ability to just outright kill their opponent for a little while yet. And this is probably why Showtime is trending towards a 4th base and Heromarine is adding an armory before any sort of attack. Just kind of admitting, you know what? Yeah, we're probably going to more than 1 upgrades. In fact, something to point out. Showtime does not have a forge. He's just building one now. He actually wants to try to do damage here. Heromarine, does he notice? Like, this is actually kind of a weird scenario because it doesn't show up on the mini-map that the rocks are being hit. Like, he'll notice when everything comes through, the attack's coming through. Oh, yeah, that's... He pulls the SCVs. Things are about to get real dramatic real fast. Probes dying to the Raven. More auto turrets could come in. The army is committed all the way across the map. A single storm prism is recalled, but a single storm prism could change everything. He sees the prism. Reinforcements come in. Storms hit Templar and Marines alike. More Templar are grabbed up alongside some of those. Auto turret comes in, kills a few more probes. 3rd base still intact. Worker count right around 60. So both players shot across the bow here. A lot of damage dealt, but not critical damage. There's still 2 Widow Mines waiting, lurking, looking for revenge. The recall on the Prism was more than enough. 14 probes down. Make that 15, because he forgot about the mines. No, a Templar! About the best you could hope for there. Heromarine with a Doom drop in the main. Showtime has to have a perfect defense right now. There's a lot of pressure coming in. Recalls on cooldown. Better upgraded bio requires splash damage to be dealt with, or at least an overwhelming force, which he doesn't have in the main. The Storm Prism coming up. A single storm will drive back the army at the 3rd temporarily. The Widow Mines are still at the natural. Storms will shut down the drop in the main. The Widow Mines need to be dealt with. Stalkers are warped in. Raven at the back line awkwardly. A Widow Mine drop is coming up as Heromarine circles around. Showtime maintaining a lot of workers and a lot of supply despite the pressure here. The wall will bend, but it does not break. Meanwhile, though, Heromarine taking advantage of the opportunity, getting a 4th command center and canceling the... Well, draws out a couple storms, but might lose 1 or 2 medevacs for it. The 4th bases are about even, but the upgrades are going to go heavily in Big Gabe's favor. Favor. Yes. Oh, the storm on all the Marauders! So much damage dealt, but at the same time, Widowmine drops 6 probes down, Marauders in the back, 7 probes and counting. The cannons will clean this up. More Widowmines intact throughout the map. 1 medevac taken out, but another Widowmine slams into the probes. 13 kills, more Widowmines left over. Showtime decides to just go. He is down to 55 probes, which still seems very high for how much damage is being dealt. The Stalkers are starting to clear things up. 1 Widowmine is not even detected by that cannon. It's gonna get more damage done. Widowmine's just amazing. More Widowmines on the other side. Storm 1 hits more Zealots than it hits Bio. The medevacs are nearly out of energy. SCVs will die in turn. There's a few Templar inside, but the concave is beautiful for Big Gabe right now. EMP comes through. Ghost taken out by the Archons, because it doesn't get all of them. Meanwhile, 20 double dozen, I guess technically correct, workers on both sides. Heromarine down to 40. Oh my god, there goes another SCV. Showtime. Marching forward. Heromarine focused so much damage on the other side of the map. Another auto turret. Showtime keeping it together. Another Widowmine drop. Is there enough to defend? Where are the Templar? He has one more. One more storm could break Heromarine's back. And Showtime decided it wasn't worth trying to salvage the situation at home. Just breaking Heromarine was a more viable option. And with half a dozen different sorts of units on the other side of the map, Heromarine just did not have the critical mass at home to defend. So here we are. Here we are. Match 5. The ace match, the rubber match, though I don't know where that one comes from. I like ace match. Uh-oh. Wait, was Heromarine in red last time? Okay, so it doesn't hold true anymore. The storms... So far, Showtime has won 100% of games where he got Storm. I'm trying to think back. No, in Game 2, I don't think he had it. He may have had it. But I don't think he had it. He went straight for Archons. A bloody game. Even if Protoss don't bleed conventionally. The Widowmine's almost enough. The Widowmine's kind of forced Showtime into an all-in. I don't know, like, Heromarine's relentless focus on killing probes. Kind of, at some point, Showtime just pulled the trigger. It's like, alright, screw this. I mean, he was still cleaning things up at home, but he lost so many probes. That, you just go and hope for the best. This SCV sneaking in. At this point, Showtime's just slapping the Cyber Core down. Yeah, like... He's not even bothering trying to get Nexus before Core. Not... Those times have ended. Big Gabe getting up in his business. And now will Showtime finish off the reverse sweep? Those were 2 confident games out of Showtime. I say that, but it looked, well, what I mean is Showtime was in a position where many players would fall apart. Like, and it'd be understandable. But there's a reason they call him the wall. When you're getting attacked from Widowmines from one angle, a Bio Army on another, and a Raven at the back. 3 4-pronged attacks right now, like the Pitchfork Terran, Heromarine. It'd be entirely understandable to just crumble. But that's not what Showtime does. He holds. He does damage control, such as it is, and still has enough together to win the game. A Twilight Council. He's decided against the Stargates. The Stargates have gone out the window. It's been Twilight now. Just opening Blink, Charge, and then Storm. Stargate just doesn't get the offensive potential against Terran. This time, Heromarine gonna have his SCV figure out where it's sleeping tonight after doing some good work on the racks or the command center. No delay on this one. Remember how I felt it. I felt the tilt on Heromarine after losing 2 SCVs to an Adept with a command center that was at 100%. I tilted a little bit. So that's just by proxy. It's not much. Like, 2 SCVs shouldn't make or break a game, but it can make or break your mindset. For sure. It's like, oh, one of these games again. Every little thing can add up. But the best players, of course, don't let it. So, 3 Hellions and a Medevac. A casual Medevac drop, or Hellion drop, rather. Blink is on the way. It also works. Is he going to do a decoy? Is he going to send the Medevac? No, he's not going to send the Medevac in. Blink is not quite done. Showtime doesn't have enough minerals for the 3rd Nexus. Only showing 1 Hellion here, by the way. 1 Hellion is standard. It's scouting. 3 Hellions, not so standard. Alright, there's no shield battery in the main. The Blink is not done. Some damage will be dealt here. The question is how much. Honestly, Showtime handling this beautifully. There go 4 probes. Again, Showtime diffusing the situation. About as little damage as could be expected for the investment. 3 Hellions for 4 probes. Of course, the Hellions don't have long-term value, but the building of the Hellions slowed things down. So behind this, Heromarine doesn't really have that much. He's adding on 2 racks, 2 and 3. He's going to be adding on a tank once he finishes up another depot or 2. The Medevac is scouting, and I think it's just here to pretend like it has Widow Mines. Oh, he's just scouting. He's going to send it home. I thought he might show it intentional. Yeah, the Blink Stalkers, it'd be nice to get the Raven. Getting the Raven is game-changing. The Raven is everything here. It's like an even more important Oracle in a Stargate opener. That Raven is Heromarines' observer sniping. It's his ability to deal with charge lots with anti-armor missile, and his spot defense against Blink. As well as, if there are Colossi or Warp Prisms, Interference Matrix. Every spell is useful in the right scenario. And it is 200 gas, which is nothing to scoff at. Like later on, if this game goes to 6 bases and, like, cross your fingers, right? Like, then 200 gas, whatever. So many people are like, whoa, he has so much gas. Yeah, that's because he's making Heromarines. But in the early game, that could be upgrades, that could be Stim Combat Shield. Of course, usually it's timed out to not interrupt those things, but I'm just trying to make the point. The Raven is super important, and if you just fly the Raven into Blink Stalkers, that is oftentimes just losing the game. Way more so than an Oracle, but along a similar line. The Warp Prism with charge lots ready. Is there a Templar Archives? No. It's just well, okay. Yes. I will revise my statement. Yes. But, just started. I think Heromarine understands the potential for a Prism, but still going to not, like, oh no, the whole army's coming back. But wait, there's damage on the other side. No shield battery in the main. Forced to warp in. Heromarine not caught entirely flat-footed, getting some damage of his own. There's not enough units here to actually deal with this. A nice choke point means the Zealots will be gunned down. The probe's next on the agenda. Takes up, slips out. What happened to the Prism? Prism is gone. Here, I think Showtime got a little distracted and Heromarine pounced on the Prism. And without the Prism, that means Heromarine, he did build a third command center. Kind of admitting, like, maybe an all-in timing is not the ideal. So, actually, in all of that, it looked like Showtime might get the jump on Heromarine, but Heromarine, with just one medevac out on the field, bought himself a lot of space. And now the worker counts are about even. The upgrades... We saw this last game as well. Like, make no mistake. The upgrades better for Heromarine. The unit composition, solid enough. Not real... Well, Storm's coming up now, but... This bio army is dangerous, and the Marines in the back as well. A handful of gateway units coming in to assist, but the main army. The full energy Raven here. The Templar are spotted going into a fresh Prism. That is a lot of bio. Storm is complete, though. We've seen how that goes. Heromarine has had enough. He's decided he wants to win this series. He's not going to try to play around the Templar. He's going to try to take them out. Or at least negate them. Ghost Academy is the first choice. Before an armory, before any other tech, as soon as he sees those Templar, Ghost Academy. He could, like, oh my god. Oh, decent Whittle Mine hits. If they had hit the Prism with all the Templar. Oh, who doesn't love Whittle Mines? The Raven, I think he spotted the Observer. Well, obviously he spotted the Observer. The Observer moved out of the way on seeing the Raven. But I'm pretty sure the Observer saw the medevac drop. This is a bit of an awkward scenario here. There's still Templar inside. The scan will spot the Prism. He knows what's in the Prism. Do the medevacs unload, or do they just go to the main? There are a couple ghosts out now, but it's very difficult to deal with the Storm. It's very difficult to deal with the Storm. Oh, Interference Matrix! Huge Interference Matrix. Heromarine should run the table right now. The medevacs in the main were spotted by an Observer. Showtime once again looking the other way. He didn't get the Prism. Okay, the Interference Matrix is a very large deal here, but Heromarine scrambled the Prism, he negated the attack, and by the time Showtime comes back, Heromarine will have the ghost count, he'll have the infrastructure. He's now taken back control of this game. That was a dangerous attack. If Showtime was fully focused, which he couldn't be because of the double medevac drop, yet again, a couple medevacs in the right place at the right time. Yes, the feedback, 0 out of 5. Did not like. Murdered my probes. Well, guess what? Feedback doesn't kill unless they have enough energy and they're somewhat bruised because of the nerf several years ago. So, right now the medevac's just going to feel like they have low self-esteem and half HP. But still, the Marine's intact. Fourth base, vulnerable. Showtime has a lot of vision on the map, but Heromarine does have a little more supply to throw around and has very good unit composition. The Storm Prism is a lot of this. In fact, the EMPs, the Vikings! They get the Prism, which means that the Templar are terrestrially bound here. A bunker at the back holding the line. Heromarine, Whittle Mine drop in the third could devastate the economy. 1, 2, 3, 13 probes. Showtime falling apart. Without the Storm Prism, he can actually find the Templar to EMP. Without 17 probes, Showtime's going to struggle to deal with any of this. Heromarine is closing in on victory. The Templar are still on the field. There aren't that many ghosts. The upgrades aren't overwhelming. But there are no Colossi yet. They're in production. Shield battery overcharge. Good, not great. Especially when he's not in range. Trying to break the tanks here. The charge lots eating Whittle Mine hits. Showtime into the concave. Storms at the back and with no tanks to back it up. Another round, though, of Whittle Mines brings Showtime even on workers. Surprisingly low. The Colossi must come out. He doesn't have extended thermal lance, but he needs them. Well, the Vikings are already out, though. Heromarine already has the Vikings that were partially for dealing with the Prism, but the obvious counter here is Colossi, and with Vikings already on the field, There's not that much energy. Maybe one EMP, but it lands. There's still one storm intact. It lands the storm. Good storm. Colossi force things back. Vikings around the side. The Raven itself finally taken down. Showtime being dismantled. One Colossus knocked down. Bio-army. Enough energy in these medevacs. More storms. Archon. Supply plummeting. Is there enough? Shield battery overcharge is off cooldown. He uses it. One Archon versus the world. But the world just got even harder to deal with. GG. Heromarine. Putting everything on the table and bringing it back after 2 rough games. He decided this time we're going to deal with the storm head on. And he did. Showing he knows how to handle it, making sure Showtime was looking the wrong way at the most wrong possible times. And Heromarine brings it back for a 3-2 victory in the Big Gabe Weekly. He takes home the prize, the points, and the pride. A solid series from both these German powerhouses. And I enjoyed watching some back and forth TVP. I hope you did as well. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. All the other things that you think, like, I don't know, maybe like do a dance in your chair. Don't get out of your, well, maybe you should get out of your chair and stretch, but only while waiting for the next video to autoplay. So, with that said, enjoy these likes. Well, we already said that. All right, good luck, have fun. Stay chill.